Hello everyone, my name is Mike and this is Matrix to Paradise. I created this channel to document my journey from the Matrix, which was a truck driving job in the United States for me, to living my dream, financially happy and free in Cambodia. Siem Reap, Cambodia to be exact. Anyhow, the reason I'm making this video today is because I was talking to somebody the other day downtown, and he was coming here to see Siem Reap, Cambodia, because he had heard so much about it, I guess, from watching on YouTube or whatever, watching my channel and watching other people's channels. He recognized me and came over and sat down. I waved him over, and he came down and sat with me, and I talked to him about him wanting to move to Cambodia, and he just wanted to come and take a visit and see how it was here. And so I talked to him, and he's basically living vicariously through me and other people who live here by watching our YouTube videos. And I asked him, hold on, my throat is all screwed up. Anyway, I asked him if he was wanting to move here, and he said absolutely, but he couldn't right now because he had some issues back in the United States that he had to have wrapped up before he could actually make the move. And I said, really, if you don't mind me asking, what could possibly be the issues besides maybe kids and stuff? He says, no, I don't have any kids. He goes, I was married to a woman for I don't know how many years. He was married to this woman, and I guess she didn't make very much money when they were married, and he made better money, and he ended up having to pay her alimony because I guess they were married for like 15 or 20 years, and so he's got another like 5 years of alimony to pay her before he can move over. And I told him I felt sorry for him for that. I mean, that's a horrible thing to have to sacrifice 5 years of your life. He had 5 more years. He has to sacrifice 5 years of his life so he can pay somebody else who he's not even married to anymore. I thought that was ridiculous, but anyway, I mean, not for him. It's not his fault, but I think that's a ridiculous thing that somebody should have to pay another human money after they're divorced for so many years. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's my opinion. But anyway, so I thought I'd get on here and talk to people who are thinking about making a change in their lives. I mean, a huge change. And I look at the demographics who watch me, and not that I have a ton of people that watch me. I have 250, 260, I believe, followers now. And that's not a whole lot, but I mean, I think that they're all in, pretty much most of them are in the same mindset. They're basically in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And, mid 30s to the late 60s, even and beyond. And I believe most of them are living vicariously through me because they want to do the same thing, or they are wanting to do the same thing, could do the same thing, but can't because they have responsibilities back home, wherever they're at. So I thought I'd just get into this a little bit. So I thought I'd get into it. I'd rehash a little bit of my thoughts about my life when I decided to come here. And my dream was basically financial independence and being able to explore the world. And I've always been a geography buff, a history buff. I love seeing new cultures. I love seeing new places. I just love it. I always wonder what's over there, what's on the other side of that mountain. And so that's the kind of person that I am. Now, not everybody's exactly like that, but there are a bunch of people who would love to see something different than just the same old thing. And not only that, but financial independence is a big thing. I don't have to tell you if you speak English or a European language and live in the West, United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Western Europe, period. All of those places are ridiculously expensive, especially when you're retiring. So you retire with a pension or whatever savings or whatever 401k or whatever you have saved up, and if you're lucky, you're well, maybe not if you're lucky or not, but also some countries have a Social Security option. Well, not option, it's usually mandatory in the countries that offer it, but they have Social Security, which is a government payout after you retire. And even with all that, it's still ridiculously hard to live a decent life, even in the West. So it's not unheard of for Americans, British, Australians, Canadians to move out of their countries and go to other countries that have a better bang for your buck, I would say. Better, bang for your pound or for your euro. It's so much better when you're paying 10 times less for housing. So I live in a studio apartment here in Siem Reap, Cambodia. It's just your basic apartment. It's nothing special. It's nothing horrible. It's just a basic apartment, and that's all I need. I pay $130 a month for this apartment. Back home in the United States, even in the worst parts of town where I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and not that Phoenix, Arizona has any kind of terrible ghetto in it. It doesn't. But there are some spots that you probably don't want to live in because there's crackheads out there and whatever. And even in those places, you go and try and rent an apartment, you're paying over $1,000 a month, over $1,200 a month usually. So I'm paying 10 times less, and I'm safe here, safe. So that was the big incentive for me, was living free, independently free with money, not having to scrape by just for rent and electricity and whatever, and have some extra money left over so I can go do some stuff that I want to go do. But not only that, to be someplace where I think it's pretty exotic. It's different. I can go to other places and explore from here. So that's why Cambodia is so great to me, is that I'm right here, right in the middle of Southeast Asia. So surrounding Cambodia, there's Vietnam, there's Thailand, there's Laos, there's Myanmar, Malaysia's close by, Indonesia's close by. The Philippines is just a hop across the ocean right there, not that far, South China Sea. You're not that far away from a lot of places here. So it kind of satisfies. That's why Cambodia for me is a great place, because you could do the same thing in South America. If you lived in Bolivia, you'd be close to Chile, you'd be close to Ecuador, Colombia, Peru, Paraguay, Argentina, Brazil, the whole 9 yards. You'd be really close to all that stuff within a bus ride or a short plane trip. So you could do that there too. Africa the same way, Asia the same way, in other parts of Asia. But the beauty part about this place is that it's very safe here. The culture of the Khmer people is peace. It's a Buddhist country. Buddhists are all about peace. You wouldn't know that by the Thailand-Cambodia border thing, but that's something that goes back centuries. So I don't think that's going to blow up any worse than it already has. Have there been problems here in the past? Of course there have been. But all in all, it's a peaceful country. The people are peaceful and happy and generally warming up to you when you come here. They're welcoming to you. They're not shunning. I've never seen one bad response from a Khmer person since I've been here. Now, of course, I treat them all with respect and dignity and the whole 9 yards. I'm very nice to all of them, and I try to integrate myself into their customs and act like the Khmer people. Not trying to imitate them, but act accordingly. And that gets you a long way here. That really does. They really enjoy that. So it works for me here. Now, it could work for someone else in a different place. It's just all about that. But my two main things were going to see someplace different and being able to financially live someplace with the least amount of problems, with the least amount of worry. And here, it's very good. It's very, very good. So, Cambodia now, okay, there are some, okay, so some people say, you know, why not Thailand? Why not the Philippines? Okay, well, I'll tell you why. The Philippines and Thailand, wonderful countries, no doubt about it, and there's plenty of expats living in those countries. The problem is that there are too many expats living in those countries. Expatriates from Europe and United States and Canada and Australia and New Zealand, they're all moving to these places because they're popular. Now, Thailand happens to be popular for the sex trade, but they're also popular for people moving over there and trying to find Thai wives and, you know, whatever. But Thailand is increasingly making it harder and harder for people to stay there long term. And so a lot of people are not going there anymore or are moving out of there. The Philippines is a little easier. They're not making it hard to live there. But the more expatriates that show up there, the higher the prices are going to go. The more money gets poured into someplace, the more they're going to expect out of you. So the same thing happens. I think the last time I checked, I read somewhere that there's over 300,000 American expatriates. That's just American expatriates living in the Philippines. 300,000. So, and most of those are men, of course. Went over there and found Filipino wives and are living in families and enjoying their lives over there. But it gets more and more expensive. Plus, personally for me, I don't want to be around a ton of expats all the time. I don't. I want to be around Khmer people, or if I was living in the Philippines, around Filipino people. I want to experience their culture. I don't want to see the U.S. culture come in and take over. I don't want to see that. Not that I think that the U.S. culture is all bad. It's not all bad. I mean, there's a lot of good spots, a lot of good things about the U.S. culture. A lot of bad stuff too, but that's the same way with every culture. But I want the Philippines to be the Philippines. I want Cambodia to be Cambodia. I don't want it to be America. And just like I don't want America to be, Mexico. I don't want America to be, the Philippines. I don't want it to be any other country. I want it to be America. People go to America to see America because it's America, not because it's, filled with other people from other countries that are changing the culture to what they wanted from their old country. You don't want that. You don't want that anywhere. It has nothing to do with whether you like America or you don't like America, or you don't like the West, you don't like the West. It has nothing to do with that. You want to. Personally, I want to see the different cultures. If I go to Peru, I want to see Peruvian culture. I don't want to see Khmer culture there. I don't want to see Filipino culture there. I don't want to see American culture there. I want to see Peruvian culture. So that's the gist. So Cambodia now, and I'm getting back to this. I don't mean to stray off, but the reason Cambodia now is because it's not popular with the widespread expat movement or the widespread sex tourist networks or any of that. It's not like that at all here. In fact, it's a very conservative country. Do you have sex trade here? A little bit, yeah, here and there, but it's nothing like Thailand. It's nothing like the Philippines. It's nothing like a lot of countries. So it's very conservative here. So therefore, not a lot of partiers come here. Can you party here? Sure you can. But it's not widespread like it is in Thailand. I'm just using Thailand for an example. No pun to Thailand. I mean, nothing bad about Thailand. But this is a much more conservative country in a good way. They're very warming and very welcoming and happy and all that, but they're not into the craziness that some people have seen in other countries. Now, so therefore, there's not a ton of these people coming here to party and go crazy, and this is just in fact, Siem Reap is kind of like just a stop for me, at least that I've seen. It's just a stop to go see Angkor Wat, and so people come, they stay in a hotel, they go see Angkor Wat, they go down to Pub Street, party a couple nights, get back on the bus and take off and go to Phnom Penh, or go to Thailand, or go to a different country. So that's what happens. So coming here, it's still cheap. It's still cheap here. It's still very, very cheap here. Cheaper than Thailand, cheaper than the Philippines, cheaper than all of them. So when you get an apartment here, it's furnished. They're trying to entice you to come in. They get furniture. You get an apartment in the Philippines, you got to furnish it yourself. That's just all there is to it. So that's, you see these little differences, and that's why Cambodia is so enticing to me. Now, is there a lot of stuff to see here? Absolutely. Is there beaches here? Sure there are. You go down to Sihanoukville, you go down to Kampot Kep, that area. There's plenty of them down there. So Cambodia has it all if you want it. You can find it here. Now, what is holding up everybody from coming? Now, I know that a lot of people there's two different things I think that hold up people from coming and doing. I'm assuming that the people that are watching me, most of them, want to move out and go explore the world and do that kind of thing. And would love to do what I'm doing, or better. And I think what's holding them back are responsibilities. They have kids, they have alimony payments, crap like that, or stuff like that. And I guess everybody's got to dig down and find out what their reasoning is for not pulling the trigger and just coming. Now, I understand if you're 35 years old. If you're 35 years old, you're still 27 years away from getting Social Security. So you'd still have to have a lot of money saved, or at least a remote working kind of job where you could support yourself to go overseas to do this kind of thing. To actually retire and come over here, I had to wait until I was, in my mid to late 50s to save up the amount of money to gap the years between coming over here and Social Security. So, but I was married for 14 years, so I wasn't saving up for this. Now, if I hadn't been married, which I wish I had never gotten married, if I hadn't gotten married, I probably could have been over here a lot sooner, because I'd have been saving a lot faster. A lot more, because I wouldn't be spending it on her and a marriage and all the other silliness. Now, if you're a businessman, or you're savvy with investments and all that stuff, or you know how to work real estate and all that, you could muster up the money and come over here by making deals and doing that. Now, I'm not gifted in that sense. I'm more of a labor worker. Do I consider myself intelligent? I'm certainly, in some cases, yes. In business, no. Okay, so I'm very honest with myself about what I know and what I don't know, and I'm the first person to say I don't know anything. I don't know a damn thing. So what I do know is I try and use it the best, and the rest I try and learn from everybody else, and I try to pick their brains. But anyway, that's the question you got to ask yourself. What do I want out of life, and what do I got to do? And if this is what you want to do, start making those steps. Start planning out your escape. If you have 5 years to go before you can leave because you're paying alimony, start socking away money. Start living like a pauper. I mean, start living like a serf in this, the 1600s. Start living below your means, because when you do that, start eating ramen noodles and saving the money, because you always will be better off later on if you save that money and get out of there quicker, because you don't know how many years you have left. You don't. And those are the most valuable things you have, are the years that you have left. And every minute spent not doing what you really want to do with your life is a minute wasted. It's a minute wasted of your life that you're never going to get back. So I implore anybody who's watching me and thinking about doing this, find your plan. Get your plan down. What do I have to do? What are the priorities? Money is one thing. You have to tie up all your responsibilities back home. You have to do that. But money is a big thing, because no one can survive without the financial means to support yourself, to eat, to have a roof over your head, to have clothes on your back, the whole 9 yards. Everybody needs that. So you need to figure that out. You need to figure out the plan to get to the amount of money that you need to get to get you out of your situation and to where you want it to be. So all the people that watch me, and I know that that there are a lot of you that are watching on your phone or on your TV or on your tablet or whatever, and you're sitting at home after work and you're wishing that you were in some other country. It might not be Cambodia, but you wish you were in some other country living the life. Get going. Start planning it now, because the quicker you get going on it, the faster you're going to get there. It's just the truth. I mean, when I started this channel, I had nothing. I really had not much, really. I had a few thousand. I just got done paying off my the loan that I had for to get to CDL. I just got done paying that off, and I was on my way of saving money. Well, I'd already saved a bit of money, but I was on my way to saving money to get over here, to get out of the matrix. Basically, it was, making some other people rich by driving their trucks. Not that I thought it was a bad thing. That's a good way. It was opportunity for me to make money, and we both benefited. But I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to be over here. So in order to get there, you have to go through some crap to get to the good stuff. So I implore everybody that's watching me, start making your plans, start saving your money, start planning out your financial future so that you can make it happen. If it's an online job, or it's retirement savings or retirement planning that you've been doing, Social Security, or Canadian Social Security, or whatever they do in the UK, or whatever it is, figure it out, get it down, start thinking about it, start working on it every single day. And the great part about it is when you start working on it, you start seeing gains. Like when I started putting money into my bank account and not spending it all, and not spending it on stupid stuff, when I started cutting back and making myself more minimalistic, I was able to see how much that made a difference in my savings every week, because I was getting paid weekly. But I mean, even if you're getting paid bi-weekly, the same thing. I was able to see the difference. I was able to see it go up and up and up, and you're like, oh, I'm almost at 21,000. I'm almost at 22. I just crossed over 23. I can't wait to get to 25. The next place to go is 30. And go on and on. And that's part of the fun too, is seeing yourself achieve your dream. And basically, the trip there is part of the dream, is completing the steps it takes to get to your dream destination. Now, when you get to your dream destination, or your dream spot, or your situation, whatever it is, then you got to go from there. That's where the real thing comes in where you got to start thinking, all right, now what? What's next? Because I think every human is geared up to solve problems, to get things done, to work, to move, to get going. And when you have the freedom to do that, whenever you feel like doing that, you really start learning about yourself, whether you're a procrastinator, or you're lazy, or you're a go-getter or whatever. And I'm a little bit of all those. But you set your sights again. You put yourself ahead again. But now you're doing it from a much better spot. Now you're not tied to some, deadline or some, wake up time or clock in time. You're not tied to that. You're living your own life. So, like I said, everybody needs to get themselves going. Even if you're not going to move out of your country and move overseas, whatever, you got to keep goals. You got to keep goals. You got to keep going, or else you deteriorate. I've said this a million times, but if you don't keep going, if you don't get busy living, you get busy dying, just like Andy Dufresne said in Shawshank Redemption. If you don't get busy living, you're getting busy dying. So getting busy living means getting your shit straight, getting your crap together, and get moving forward. So I hope that if you watch my first couple videos or whatever, and you watch my videos now, I was working in a truck, just describing what I was doing every day in a truck, driving to this city, dropping off this load or whatever. Now I'm living in Siem Reap, Cambodia, enjoying my life, loving it. So there was a time when I thought, oh man, I'm never going to get there. It's going to take forever, but it didn't. And every little step I took got me there quicker and quicker and quicker. And the light at the tunnel got brighter and brighter and brighter. So just like I'm saying, guys, start your journey now. Get going. Start working on it. Start saving your money. Start planning your future. Start planning your financial future. Start planning where you're going. Start exploring it. Don't overplan too much, except for on the money part. Save as much money as you can. You can never have too much money. Everybody knows that. But you don't have to overplan everything to the point where it's ridiculous. So, those are for other videos. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there, guys. Now is a good time to come to Cambodia. Now is an excellent time to come to Cambodia if you want to come to Cambodia. But right now, it couldn't be better. Anyway, you guys have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.